Hello and welcome back to another bloody good vaping. So today I'm going to be taking a look at an atomizer out of Greece, and by steam tuners no less. Now you must have heard of steam tuners. They've been around for a fair few years now. They've basically provided vape uplifts for certain atomizers, across the board of vaping, especially something like the K-Fun Light. They're pretty much made famous for that. When the K-Fun Light came out, it was a really good looking atomizer and this, that and the other, but as vaping grew and hobbyists sort of wanted smaller and more sort of jazzy things, these vape uplifts started coming out, and steam tuners brought out sort of different top caps, nano kits, bell caps and things like that, and then they branched out to other atomizers like, say, the Typhon and the Rose V2 and the Tilimahus, great word, from Golden Greek, and they've been designing little odds and sods to make these things look a bit cooler, a bit more fresher, and give us the option of customising our favourite atties. And now they've sort of delved into atomizer making themselves, and they've brought out the Insider. Now, it's not your regular atomizer, it's basically one for the inside of your billet box. And Billet Box is extremely popular at the moment. I seem to get a Billet Box nearly every year, a different sort of Billet Box. But with the sort of the release of the Rev 4, which had an Evolve DNA 40 board in it, they've become even more popular. And there's always been that sort of little struggle, especially with me, of what's gone inside a billet box. Now, Cartomizer just sucked. It just absolutely sucked. But we've had divers, we've had different PVC coils, we've had this, that and the other go in, Unos and what have you. But nothing I found worked for me, personally, until the Atty Smith Hellfire released the Exocet, and then it took off. Here's an atomizer that you could actually test and build outside of the billet box, check your resistance, check your bits and pieces on it, and have a nice enough build in there, a big enough build in there to suit your vaping style and how vaping styles have changed, and then put it in the billet box and vape away like you was putting a regular atomizer inside. You had airflow control options, you had reduced chambers, you had your wicks coming out, you could put Claptons in it, you could do this, that and the other, and that has just skyrocketed really the popularity of the billet box even more. So steam tuners have actually brought out their own edition atomizer inside. The same idea, you can build it, you can check your resistance, and you can do whatever you need to outside. It's got its own 510 and everything like that, so you can check it on a different mod, you can check it on an ohm reader, and then put it back in the billet box and vape away. Now, there are some differences compared to this and the Exocet. In fact, there are quite a few to make it a completely different vape. Now, the Insider basically is a 304 grade stainless steel atomizer. It does come with two different chimneys. You get one at 3.2mm and one at 4mm, so depending on the sort of density of your vapour as well. We do have a reduced chamber in this, and also, rather than having the wick holes out the side, where your sort of tail legs or your wick legs will come out and soak up the juice, we actually have channels on this, a bit like a K-Fun Light, where the juice will come up through the channels inside to the wicks inside the actual chamber itself. So it's a fully closed chamber. We have no wick ends coming out like the K-Fun Light. And this works exceedingly well because you can go down really far low on your juice inside your billet box, inside your burrow tank, and it will still continue to feed. And we have airflow control on this as well. You do actually get two airflow control rings with this, Delrin white and black, depending on the colour of your burrow tank, I suppose. You do get those two chimneys as well, and it works really, really well indeed. I currently got it in the billet box. I've got a build of 24 gauge actually. I've got 8 wraps on a 24 gauge, and it's coming out at 0.8 ohms, and I'm vaping this at 22 watts. $12 milligram juice, of course, 50/50 VGPG. Very, very nice indeed. Now, before I get into any more details about it, price, what I think about it, where to get it from, etc, 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 let's pop down to the table now. Let's have a little look at it up close, and then we'll come back and give it a bloody good vaping. Tafe. So here you have the Insider from Steam Tuners, made of 304 grade stainless steel. The height, not including the 510 piece here, the threaded 510 piece, is just a fraction over 19mm. Diameter is 13.1mm, and inside we have an inside chamber of 11mm as well. It does reduce ever so slightly at the top as well as that concaves in. We do have 4 2mm airflow holes there around that 510. We do have a slightly adjustable stainless steel 510 pin as well, so we can test this on mods outside of the billet box, and it works on every one I've tried so far. With your insider, you'll also get two chimneys, one here with an inner diameter of 3.2mm and another here with an inner diameter of 4mm. You'll also get two airflow control rings, which are made of Delrin, one in black and one in white, depending on what style you want and what colour borrow tank you have. See, they're quite large as well. These are very easy to access with your fingers inside the billet box, so no more use of tools to change your airflow control. Now back to the insider itself. Top section is threaded. That inner diameter just over 11mm in there. You can see that slight reduction on the chamber. Now, due to the size of this, they do say that you could possibly get about 4.3mm of juice inside your borrow tank, give or take. You're not going to be able to fill it right to the very top, so I reckon you're going to be able to have something like 3.8mm, maybe just a fraction less in your borrow tank, which is more than enough really. Let's get to the deck itself. Now, straight away off the bat, you can see we've got that really nice sort of lower air intake there all the way across. So you're going to get a nice amount of air onto that coil. You can see that positive and negative sitting just slightly below and above each other there. It makes it very, very easy just for your coil legs to slide in. Now you do get either Phillips head screws or hex screws with this. The thicker the wire, I suppose, you're going to want to go hex screw just in case you don't want that touching any part of the top there if they're not screwed down fully. But yeah, nice and easy with those Phillips head for someone like me who doesn't really go any lower than, say, 26 gauge. You can see there at the side where we meet our channels. And basically our wick ends are going to sit up the top here. Our juice is going to travel up and onto our wick ends and then to the coil. So yeah, it's that K-Fun light idea. Works really, really well, and obviously, of course, you're going to be able to go quite low on your juice in your billet box before you start to really, really notice, because it feeds from the bottom upwards. So let's get a build in this bad boy and see how she vapes. Now, I'm not going to bore you showing you how to stick things through holes. You're all adults and should know how to do that already. But yeah, I've got an 8 wrap here of 24 gauge. So some nice thick wire that's gone in here without a problem whatsoever. I'm not too sure much more I'd be risking for myself to put in there, but it just goes to show that you can put in some like an 8 wrap on a 3mm bit of 24 gauge, and I don't have a problem here whatsoever. I'm just going to pull it out slightly so it sits more over that air intake there. There we go. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of cotton bacon here. Remember, this is not actual bacon, just in case you didn't read the label. Slide that through. Job's a good one. Going to get out my snippy snips, wherever they may be. On here, look at that, lovely. Now I want to go straight, basically just to the ends. There we go. That's good enough for me. Just going to find a little bit of juice. Now you can test all your resistances and stuff, and I would recommend doing it. I don't usually do it on camera. You know, I don't actually dry burn my coils. Don't ask me why. I just don't do it. But I mean, get yourselves an ohm meter, check your resistances, and check everything beforehand. You know, don't just copy what I do. This is just, I've been doing this a long time now, so you know, so I just get yourself an ohm checker, check what your ohms and your resistances and all that is, you know, and if you want to, and if you want to dry pulse your coil and stuff, do that as well. I just don't bother, so that's down to me. It's my own thing. But there you go. I kind of got a rough idea what it's going to end up being anyway, so I'm happy as a pig in shit, really. Okay, then I'm just going to push this inside just above those channels. And I do leave just a fraction at the top of that channel there, just to give it that extra boost from the juice, doing its magic. Looked it, panicked then. Thought, what am I doing wrong? There we go. So we're working a treat. I'm just going to now catch on my threads. Me wet hands. I'm going to choose my 4mm chimney bit. Basically, there she goes. She's going to go inside my borrow tank now. So let's do that. So you're probably all accustomed of doing this now anyway. So I'm just going to push my insider into the bottom of my borrow tank there. And I'm going to take my, I'm going to use my 4mm chimney bit. I'm just going to push that down. So we're going inside like that. And then just push her in. There we go. Get my little slidey door. Put my juice in. And fill to your heart's content. Get as much in there as you possibly can. And there we go. And then just choose which colour airflow control ring you want. I'm going to go for white. And she's ready to go in the billet box. I mean, once she's in your billet box, you can then see how easy it is to get to that airflow control ring with your fingers. A lot more easier. And basically to get to change your airflow. So yeah, that's the insider there from Steam Tuners. So there you have the insider from Steam Tuners. Now I know everybody wants me to go sort of like which one's better, the Exocet or the insider, but to be honest, they're completely two different style atomizers really. I mean, they feed differently. Of course, the Exocet feeds from outside, from the top, like the cotton comes out either side, like a Typhon, like a Rose, whereas the Steam Tuners insider is more like a K-Fun. So I mean, if you loved a K-Fun vape, that's pretty much what you're getting from the insider. It's very, very reminiscent to the way that feeds and to the way that vapes. Now, it's extremely easy to build on, as you saw in the close-up. You know, that positive raised higher than the negative as well, so those coil legs just pop in really, really nice and easy. You know, you can get a nice, quite a big build in here as well as your Claptons. You know, I've got some 24 gauge in there, like a 7/8 wrap in there, no problem whatsoever. You've got a plentiful size air intake underneath it as well, and it all fits inside, which I think's great. You just push those cotton legs down, sit on top of the channels, and away you go. We do have a reduced chamber in there as well, and it feeds really nice. You know, I've found no sort of leaking with it whatsoever. No sort of even little bits of just slight sort of what's the seepage. I hate that word. No seepage whatsoever. You know, my billet box has been bone dry, and I've been using this since the beta came out, probably about a month ago. You know, and then there were some changes to be made with the chimneys and with the size of the airflow control rings. Now, the airflow control rings as well, I think, are great on this because even though we had that on the Exocet, you had to kind of use a little tool to change your airflow. You know, you can't really measure the internal airflow on this, you know, with the billet boxes added airflow as well. But on the Steam Tuners, you do have 4 2mm holes all the way around, and you have that dowel rim piece that can block off and just close off a little bit, and you can actually reach it with your fingers. That cog is nice and sort of protruding far enough so you can just turn it with your fingers. Whereas the Exocet, you did have to use a little tool, and it became a bit fiddly. You'd overspin or you'd underspin, and that was a pain in the arse. So I really, really like that indeed. And it does give a fantastic vape. It really does. It does remind me of an area K-Fun Light, to be honest. You know, it does give a cracking vape. You know, but one thing I will say on this is those channels are quite slim. So if you're going to use a high VG juice, you might end up getting some dry hits, which I did using an 80-20. I was getting a couple, very rare, but I was getting some dry hits. You know, those channels are quite slim. So if you're a 70-30, bang on, it's fine. 50-50, oh, job's a good one. But 80-20, when I was trying to like blow some sick clouds, fam, I got a few dry hits on it because, you know, those channels are quite slim. There's not a lot of room to travel on very thick juices up there. So I was finding sometimes getting a bit of a dry hit. Now, it could have been just me, user error. I'm not too familiar with playing with that sort of thick juice, but I was testing different thick juices because I thought to myself, those channels are quite slim. I wonder how much it can take. Building on it, like I said, is an absolute cinch, and it's nice to have it all contained inside there. It's really not fiddly whatsoever. It's almost like riding a bike when you wick anything kind of and build anything like a K-Fun. You know, a K-Fun was kind of like one of my first ever main rebuildables that I actually managed to get to work. And, you know, it was sort of once I started building it like a K-Fun again, it was like riding a bike. But yeah, the option of the two chimneys, really cool as well, depending on sort of what style of vape you like. You know, that works great. You know, if you want a bit thicker, denser vapor, go for the 4mm. If you like just something a bit more sort of nice and easy mouth to lung, then go for the 3.2mm. So you have those two options there. The build quality on it is really, really nice. The threads on it are great. You know, just don't catch any of that wick when you're screwing it down. It is threaded down because the wicks are coming out on the Exocet. You don't have that problem of really trapping them off. You could just turn it, but on this you are threaded on it, so just make sure they're nice and touched just above that the wick channels. Sorry, you know, I even had just a slight bit running just into the channels a little bit, just to give it that little help to get to that coil. But yeah, just make sure you don't trap any off or cut any off and have it go inside your juice or anything like that. But all in all, I think it's a lovely addition to the Billet Box sort of saga we have going on here now. You know, it's a really nice and a different experience vape from the Exocet for me. It suits me more because of my style of vaping. The Exocet I found was sort of for more bigger builds, you know, for sort of more sort of direct lung inhales, for more sort of plumes of vapor, whereas I like the Insider for just a nice sort of conservative, rich cotton vape, really. I especially really love the airflow control rings as well. Now I can finally get to it without sort of digging for a little thin screwdriver anywhere or something like that to use a tool. It's just so easy for my fingers to do its business, said the vicar to the actress. Anyway, yeah, that's the Insider. Now, to get one, you're going to have to be a member of the Steam Tuners group for now, I believe. But knowing Steam Tuners, they have a website that will be on there, maybe available soon. But their first production run will be next week from the date of this video. Okay, so don't watch this in like 6 months and then go over to their video, go over to their page and go, where is it? But they do have a website. The link will be in the description. I will put the link to the group in the description as well. And they will be €115. So you're around the same price of the Exocet, you know, and that's for the device itself, the two chimneys. You do get you get both hex and Phillips screws. Now I've only got Phillips screws for my one, but you are going to be able to have either hex or Phillips screws for this, and you also get your two airflow control rings as well as your O-rings per se. So, you know, nice bit for your money as well. So about, yeah, €115, which is around £100 mark, you know, so we're still on the same level as the Exocet. Next production run, the first production run will be next week. So get yourself over there, and if you're a Billet Box fanatic or a fan, or you've just got a Billet Box and you want something to try in there, I would highly recommend it. It's a really, really nice vape, easy to build on, and you know, great for the airflow control options as well. Lovely. So that's the Insider from Steam Tunes, 304 grade stainless steel. You get 2 airflow control rings, both Delrin, white and black, to suit your burrow tank. You know, you get 2 options for chimneys as well, 3.2 and 4mm as standard. You know, a nice easy build with channels rather than wick holes. Lovely graduation on the positive and negative, so those coil legs go in nice and easy. Great big air intake, 4 2mm air slots around the 510, and yeah, and all in all, just a really smashing vape, and I've had no leaking from it or no seepage whatsoever inside my billet box, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for watching this review, and I will see you on the next one. Stay safe.